Hello and welcome to this week's podcast. I hope you've had a good week. It's been an interesting week in my house. We got hit by the storm quite badly. I hope you weren't too badly hit by the storm, but we lost power for 15 hours. So we had no power at all on Wednesday, which made it additionally challenging to do our staying at home and working at home and learning from home. But we're all here and everything is good, so we can't really complain. I want to start with some good news. I've got lots of good news for us this week. So let's start with good news story number one. Good news. First of all, some of the non-Anglia education schools in the other parts of the world, in China, in Vietnam, in Switzerland, in Prague, they are all opening up again, which is fantastic. Yes, this will pass. We will be together again soon. So that's all good. And it's good because it's just nice to know that schools are opening up and children are getting an opportunity to get back into school with their teachers, as we will, I'm sure, be able to do together here soon as well. It's good because we are learning. We are learning from our colleagues in our sister schools all around the world. We're learning about how to go back into school safely. There are things that we're going to have to adapt. We know we're going to have to adapt things like drop off and pick up and lunch times and break times and PE lessons and all sorts of things that we're learning from our sister schools that are already doing this. And obviously the key focus is on how to do this safely with good hygiene and good cleaning programs. But it's nice to know that our sister schools are already doing this and creating a new path as to how to best do this so that when our time comes, we can be ready to go. I know everybody is itching to get back into school as soon as they possibly can, so we will be ready. We will make sure we are ready to go as soon as we possibly are allowed to go back in. More good news, another good news story. $2.6 million of scholarship. I think that's a pretty good news story. I'd go as far as to say a pretty amazing news story. Well, that is the figure that our students so far, our graduating class so far this year, have been awarded $2.6 million in scholarships. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Every year we seem to be getting to do more and more in terms of getting students scholarships to go to great universities. Our students are going to universities all around the world, in Chicago and Toronto and Cambridge, all over the world. Our students are beginning to getting ready to go to universities, and we're very proud of them for what they've done and how they've worked hard to get themselves there. Keep an eye out on our social media because we're going to be trying to celebrate each one of our graduates over the coming weeks and where they're going to go for the next stage of their exciting parts of their journeys. More good news. News just in. Students are making great progress. Yes, despite what you might see in the news or read from the media, the teachers are reporting to us that the students are making great progress through our virtual school experience. Yes, it's different. Yes, the students have to learn in a different way, but they are all learning. And I'm really pleased to say that we don't seem to be worried about the students falling behind or not being ready or having big things to catch up as much when it comes to what we've been able to do with our virtual school experience. Teachers are very confident about what the students have been doing. We've been focusing a lot on the essential skills and on the key understandings, key conceptual understandings for our students, but they're all rising to the challenge and doing great stuff. So they're making great progress, which is good because I'm going to tell you about reports. Yes, students, if you thought you weren't going to get reports at the end of the year, you were wrong. You are getting reports at the end of the year. We've been working hard on how do we report on our students' progress over the course of this virtual school experience for this last part of the year. And we've, I think the end of year reports are really focusing on being a closure for the end of the year, bringing it to an end. They will be focused on an opportunity to consolidate and share students' learning with their parents, and they're also all about how we prepare you for next year. So there is information in your reports that are coming up about what students have learned. There are teachers' comments from different subject areas. There are tutor comments. There are targets for what students need to be working on as they go forward into the next stages of their learning. But in addition to this, we are putting in some additional parent, teacher, student conferences for the end of the year. So the last week of our summer term, we are going to be doing a lot of work in that last week on reflecting and on linking to our reporting process. So there'll be opportunities for our parents to meet up with your children's teachers, to talk about their reports, to go through the things they've been learning, to look at the targets they're going to focus on for next year. There's also opportunities for the students to add their voice. That might be in the reporting process or through the parent-teacher-student conference process, the additional ones we're putting in. So all of that is going to be happening, and the heads of school, I believe, have sent that information out to you, have started sending out information out to you today, so look out for more details around that. But we're really excited about how we can continue to report and share your child's learning with our parents towards the end of the year. What's that? More good news? Yes, we have more good news for you. So this is the winners of our Global Campus Visual Arts Competition. Yes, so a visual arts competition this year was based around the United Nations Rights of the Child, and lots of our students created artwork that was inspired around the rights of the child. So I'm delighted to tell you that Yusari in Year 8 was the winner for the middle school age group, which is ages 11 to 14. Tanisha in Year 6 won the won the age group for Year 8-year-olds to 11-year-olds. Warren in Year 2 won the early years to 8-year-old section. So they all won their respective sections. This now means that they are being put forward for consideration by UNICEF to potentially have their artwork displayed at the United Nations in New York. Fabulous. Congratulations to our 3 winners. Well done everybody that took part, and particularly to our runners-up and our winners, which is absolutely brilliant. Was that more good news? Yes, there's still more good news, because we've got more things in the Global Campus that you can get involved in. Did you know that today actually is the beginning of the virtual mountain climb of Kilimanjaro? So I talked about this last week in the podcast. Check out all the great things that are happening on the Global Campus if you'd like to get involved in all those different activities that you can do. Even more good news, yes, it keeps coming. But this is what I'm really excited about, because I don't know about you, but I've been missing my sport. I'm a big sports fan, so I've been missing my sports. But I feel like this is a huge step towards being excited about sports again, because next week our virtual house games begins. Woo! Yes, and it begins with the Garden Games. Forget Tokyo 2020. We've got Bish 2020. It's the Garden Games. There is a running event for you to do, there is a jumping event for you to do, there is a throwing event for you to do, all of course dressed in your house colours. You've got to get your house colours, your house t-shirt on and do your house colours so you can collect points for your house. And then every week there's going to be new events for you to take part in and get excited about and get house points, and we'll see at the end of the whole process which house has got the most points, which students have decided to make sure they represent their house and do all the challenges and do the best they can and try and make sure that their team take home the virtual house games house cup this year. So get involved in that. I mean, I could go on, but I know these things go on and get a bit longer each time I do one. So I'm going to stop it there. Lots of great news for everybody. I'll end, as we always do, with a massive thank you for everybody that's helping out. A huge thank you to our teachers and to our parents and to all the students that get involved in things. Of course, stay strong, stay connected, stay a Bulldog, and I will see you next week for what I'm sure will be even more good news. Bye-bye.